This is fine. Can you hear me? Yeah. Again, Assalamu alaikum everyone once again, and a couple of things out of housekeeping. First thing is मुझे घर भी जाना है. So, all we do. Sohaib was very kind enough to add a lot of comments about myself, but really the credit all goes to Najma. So please. और इतना बताता चलूं कभी जो भी खाने का मेन्यू का सिलेक्शन है ना वो सब नजमा का है, ठीक है. और ये बहस हमारे यहाँ ये होता है कि भाई हम कहते हैं कि भाई 10 लोगों को बुला लो, तो मुझे पता है कि भाई 50 का खाना बनता है, 15 डिशेस होती हैं और मुझे नेक्स्ट 2 महीने वही खाना होता है. एग्जैक्टली. अच्छा, एक और बात थी, असद ने जिक्र किया कई मरतबा जिक्र किया during this presentation about Zia and Riaz. हम भी कोई पीछे नहीं है. हमारे पास भी सलमान हसन, our latest our new CEO, and Fakir Rashid is my Zia and Riaz. So, और एक बात finally, just to follow up on Asad's presentation, is हमारी सब की दुआ है कि भाई आइंदा से कभी we should not face, humanity should not face what we did 2 years ago, over the past 2 years. COVID में हमने जितना भी किया, अल्लाह करे हमें फिर करना ना पड़े. I mean, with that, I will have my talk. There you go. Slides आ जाती है ना तो जरा comfort हो जाता है. सही बात है. और I'm unlike Asad, I'm going to switch. I have to switch between Urdu and English, and so this is a joint presentation between Salman Hassan and myself. And the first part of the presentation, so Asad ने दिया वो USA में पाकिस्तान में क्या हो रहा है, और हम देंगे USA. How is USA enabling what's happening in Pakistan? And so who are we? And the reason why most of you know a lot about TCF USA, but there are a number of new faces here. And so what we thought, we'll give you a quick overview. I will give the quick overview, and then Salman will talk about kya hone wala hai next 10 saal mein, inshallah. So with that, it's an exciting journey. So let me start. First of all, again, the board of directors, and you heard them. And I take this opportunity to thank the board for the sponsorship of this conference. Thank you once again. And it has, this has been a tradition. This has been a tradition over the last several UCC. हमारा पहला UCC हुआ था दानियाल के ज़माने में, sort of 2012. और उसके बाद this is, I think, the 6th one. So we have this every year. And each year it has been sponsored by the board. Thank you so much. So kya hai TCF? It's all about raising. We don't run programs, but we do support the programs with TCF USA. It is important to understand, for those of you who are new to this organization, that we are an independent entity. ये मैं बार-बार emphasize करता हूँ कि we are independent from a management. We are a USA charity, and we need to, there's a wall separating between us at TCF Pakistan, necessarily so, because of the regulations of this country. So हमने start हुआ था, भाई Daniel or Karen, where are they? Daniel, please stand up. And more importantly, Karen, please. Really, the amazing couple. इन्होंने नहीं छोड़ा, हमने छोड़ने दिया उन्हें. So, mashallah, they are the first people. That was a startup phase in which Daniel, with his Superman efforts, joined by very quickly by Shimi and a few others. But Shimi is also another stalwart of TCF over the last 25 years, really. हम तो यही कह सकते हैं कि भाई Superman and Superwomen, and these people used to get a bag, go out, and उस ज़माने में लैपटॉप शायद ही होते थे. but they would go out and give presentations and start raising funds. Thank you again. What they did then, so in the 2010s, we had our superheroes come in. You know, उस वक्त 2-2.5 million पर हमारा revenue था. फिर हमारे सुपर हीरोज, और हमारे सुपर हीरो कहाँ हैं भाई? बैटमैन अब्दुल्ला साहब, Abdullah Saab, and then a host of others. And I don't want to miss names here, but Abdullah Saab represents all of us. And what we did at that time, in about the 2010 to 2015 range, we really started setting up the chapters now. And that's about the time when we came in, I came in, and then we organized, we started building a team. So the superheroes went to the team concept. So we set up an organization. Daniel हमेशा कहते हैं कि भाई मैं और नेजा इसका करते थे और अब तुमने जो है ना 20 लोग हैं. अब मैं सलमान से कहता हूँ भाई मैं और 10 लोग करते थे, अब 25 लोग हो गए. But mashallah, it's all good because we have now raised, as you can see, the revenue growth has been astronomical. And this is extremely a need for those of you who are in the nonprofit or not in the nonprofit business. Running a nonprofit at a growth rate of 20% a year in America is huge. And thank you for all. देखिए, असद बताते हैं हमारा काम मुश्किल है. असद and the team in Pakistan. I'm serious because इनकी तो कहानियां हैं. ये जाते हैं बाबा गलियों में जाते हैं, स्कूल में जाते हैं, प्रिंसिपल से बात करते हैं, घरों में जाते हैं, उनके साथ बैठते हैं बच्चों के साथ. हम तो ये नहीं कर सकते. हम तो यही इमेजिन कर सकते हैं कि भाई 20 साल पहले जो हमने देखा था, ठीक है ना, 20 साल पहले या 25 साल पहले, 40 साल पहले में पाकिस्तान में थे, वो जज्बा हम कैरी करते हैं. लिहाजा the work we do, all of us do, is really amazing that we're able to connect that much in Pakistan. So with that, our growth has been last year at $20 million. It was amazing. कोविड जब हुआ था तो हम तो हाथ में, मैंने असद को कॉल किया कि भाई इस साल तो लगता कुछ भी नहीं होगा, हमारे इवेंट्स बंद हो चुकी है, अमेरिका जो है वैसे ही paranoid, so we are going to, but alhamdulillah, and I'll show you the number. Amazing. Ended last year at $20 million, and now so as Salman has taken over in the last 1 year, and we are setting up a new phase. I see that happening all the time. We're entering a new phase of what TCF. The base will still be a chapter-driven organization, right? But there are mechanisms which he will talk about of how things are going to be changing. And inshallah, we are diversifying revenue. I mean, that's a brief way of saying it. All at the end of the day, the work we do, you know, we built TCF USA has built 280 school units. And alhamdulillah, I don't know what is happening. This year alone, मेरे पास, without really being solicited, well, there's some background work, but just that, you know, 5 लोग आए over the last 3 months, they have a school built कर दो, Houston donors, right? And so we are starting to the point. There's a tipping point, I think. जैसे ना वो होता ना, जैसे कोका-कोला है या ईदी साहब हैं, ईदी नाम आता है लोग चैरिटी, TCF नाम आता है एजुकेशन. देना है. I truly believe that's what's happening. You know, we don't have to introduce ourselves. You guys don't have to introduce yourself. हम लोग ने माशाल्लाह 280 schools build किए हैं, और ना सिर्फ हम इनको support करते हैं हर साल, हम इसके मजीद हम 270 और करते हैं. लिहाजा about, if you add the numbers up, we are supporting 550 schools in TCF USA network, which means that mashallah, lakh sawa lakh bachon ko, this group of people, you are actually supporting. It's amazing. So again, I know we are allowing me to beat my chest on your behalf while the leaders of Pakistan are here, but mashallah, we are providing about 40% of the revenue of TCF operations in Pakistan. So lihaza, मोटा मोटा हिसाब ये मेरे दिमाग में ये होता है कि 50% is by from Pakistan donors and 40% is ours. And mashallah, our Canadian friends here are starting to become a huge part of that. And I do want to thank our Canadian friends. There's a huge contingent here. Thank you, Farhan, for leading the effort to, from about 2 people that last a couple of years ago to we have what, about 6 or 7. Thank you very much.
So I want to have everybody who is come from Canada, please stand up. Starting with Sajid, Mehreen, Lubna, Mansoor Bhai, Zainab, of course. Where's Najma? Yes. And Aziz Bhai. So Aziz Bhai is wearing, very much TCF on his chest. We will have our talk tomorrow.
Sure, that's why
we will try and share some of what we are doing. But I'm really, really happy to be here today and with my team. Inshallah, we will talk. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, the Farhan Sadek, the chief executive of Canada, he too, मैं उसकी भी क्रेडिट लेता हूँ, तो कनाडा वो मेरा बड़ा पुराना दोस्त है, 40 साल से ऐड करते चले जाएं आप, हाँ उसको मुझे पता है नाराज बैठा हुआ है, तो जो है ना, एंड हाँ हमेशा. Anyway, so I just thought that people who are doing this, educating 120,000 children, so who are we? Just to put a context of where we are. The base, again, I mean that in all sincerity, is our chapter leaders and our volunteers. This is a volunteer organization. When I talk to the chief executives, other non-profits, how is it possible? Okay, you're raising revenues by 20%, and it's really, really, it is absolutely the processes and absolutely the people who have done it. Then there is the PK staff. Pakistan ki hamari jo team hai, led by Salman, and then the board. And what we do is, so each of us, this family we call in the US, has each one of us has a role to play here. We seek inspiration from our founders, from the leadership in Pakistan, Asad and founders as well. And the TCF USA board, we get governance and direction. Can I have Rabia? Yeah, no, what I was saying is the conversation should go outside because it is distracting. And then the TCF USA board has governance and direction, provides the or yeah, let me tell you, direction is there. As we witnessed in yesterday's board meeting, I've got some wounds from that discussion. It was a 2-hour discussion on one topic. But frankly, my friends, my colleagues on the board, I'm truly grateful. And then, of course, the strategy execution is support for the chapter leaders is done by the Pakistan and the USA staff. And who are we? ये आप जो यहाँ पे हैं आप पहचान लीजिएगा, इसी कमरे में थी ये तस्वीर. This is about 2000, I believe it was 2016. I'm a little bit grayer, but other than that, it's so that is by the way, we'll have one of these pictures. So there's a history here, and a lot of us in this room were then at this room again. So, and we have 42 chapters, 42 years. Then again, and I know Salman is going to talk about this, but this is a challenge. हम कहते रहते हैं कि भाई 42 हमारे चैप्टर्स हैं, मगर 42 चैप्टर्स एंड फ्रैंकली नहीं ये होते हैं, फिर चले जाते हैं, हम इवेंट होल्ड करते हैं. The biggest challenge in my view for TCF USA is to identify you and make and ensure that we provide the support for you and keep you engaged with TCF. And that is why we are calling this conference particularly is about getting getting new chapters built and finding new areas. And you'll see there's a whole vast, this is a huge, Wyoming में कोई नहीं है, Oregon में कोई नहीं है, Idaho में कोई नहीं है, New Mexico में कोई नहीं है, donors हैं वहाँ. जैसे आप देखेंगे stats में donors हैं वहाँ, मगर donors से नहीं होता. जब हम Houston में भी donors हैं, दूसरे शहरों में भी donors हैं, मगर you'll find that the chapter leader is the key, is the group of volunteers, the 3 or 4 people. And so we have gaps there, and inshallah we'll continue. And this is the TCF USA team, and like I said, by Abhi Mushtaq or Ateed, or this foundation is really built by women and for women. I mean, you can see this about out of the 19 or 20,000 staff in Pakistan, probably 15,000 plus are women. And in our case, we always try to do better than Pakistan does. You see, in our case, it is 90% of our staff are women. And mashallah, each one of them is just so talented. And talking about talent, what did you think about Eric's performance yesterday? We're going to get you back on the stage, and we've got a poet here, so well done. So, okay, so I'm sort of finishing up my presentation. I love this slide. This is the rankings. How did we do versus others in the USA? So we have the top rate. This is a table of top rated public charities in the USA. TCF is on the top, by the way. So there's TCF, Dell, HDF, ED, Pratham, Islamic Relief. So this data is from Charity Navigator, which is a rating agency in the US. It's completely independent. It rates probably about 100,000 plus charities across the country. By the way, there are 1.6 million charities in the USA, and Charity Navigator rates a lot of them. So we are rated as a 4-star charity. Our overall score of financial transparency is 95.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So Charity Navigator, you have to, they ask for certain documents that you have to submit to them for them to evaluate you. So if an organization does not submit them, they will not do the evaluation.
So this just work. I mean, we have to, we actually, when you're rated, you have to work with the agencies and ensure that we have the proper forms and the proper information provided to them. And more importantly, the recent, so we have been rated 4 stars for years now. And if you look at that, this is the most recent. We are in the top 8% of all charities rated by Charity Navigator. That by itself is a huge. So remember, this is like 100,000 charities plus. We're in the top 8%. So I think this deserves a great round of applause. और इसको maintain करना आसान नहीं है. इसको maintain करना, ये numbers को देखते हैं. Financial transparency is one of the most important things they do, and they continue to. We lost, but I think it was 6 or 7 years ago, Danielle, if I remember, we lost a rating and we dropped down to 4 because of one mistake we made in the form, which we submitted. So this is, again, this is hard work, this is detailed work. And now in closing, I'm just going to close by saying that I'm going to talk. Thank you. Thank you very much. 4-star is the highest rating you can get. That too. I'm glad we have people keeping me straight here, right? So मैं सुमला की तरफ देख रहा हूँ, मुझे डर लगता है वो अभी आएगा ही पर्ची, तो घंटी नहीं बजी अभी तक. I'm good, okay. खास नहीं नहीं करती भाई ये तो, है ना. Anyway, thank you for pointing that out. Absolutely. And let me take you back 2 years. I don't know whether you remember this or not, but this was imprinted on the, at least the staff, on our chests. That हमने ये बात की थी last 2020 में at the UCC, and I described, and we had a session, and Adil Najam was very much part of that session, and we said, what does the future look like for 2000 and in 2030? And at that time, we said we will grow the organization to $30 million by 2030. So that was, of course, there was a lot of debate, but in all honesty, so we had this debate, for those of you who were not there, and we put in some strands of where the money will be coming from and so on. So that was the kind of view forward without any really meat in it, but it was a test. And the debate happened, and we said, 30 million, मैंने कहा 30 million by 30. We had this polls वगैरह जो भी करते हैं, पल्स किया था, और at the end of the day, and अतीत साहब ने कहा कि नहीं ये बहुत कम है, ये हमेशा ये करते हैं, ये ना जब 2 मिलियन पर था मुझसे कहा गया था कि भाई आरिफ इसको 10 मिलियन होने चाहिए, अब ये कहते कहा उसने माइक तो
when we met, our entire TCF expense was $10 million. And I said to Arif that USA has the potential to look after TCF Pakistan's entire budget. That is the potential, always will be. So we were at 10, so TCF USA can raise 10. And we got to 20, I said it can raise 20. Now, if our budget is $35, $40 million, TCF USA has the potential. I have no doubt about it. So at this growth rate, even at 8 or 9% growth rate, you will double in 8 years. So it will not be, it will be 40 million and by 28, inshallah.
इंशाल्लाह. तो लिहाजा ये था हमारा फोरकास्ट, उसमें बड़ी डिबेट हुई थी, उसके बाद ये एग्री किया था. And I thought I had the convention conference agreeing to 30 million. Adil Sahab आए, उन्होंने कहा, फिर this debate, people rethought about it, and the aspired goal was 40 million, right? So the target is 30 million. So the aspired goal is 40, and that's the target which all of us have to work towards. And so this was back in 2000. This was back in 2020. Exactly February 27th को हुआ था UCC. It was like 2 days before the world fell apart, right? And we closed down for what happened. COVID happened. So, Mushtaq bhai, zara sa, bas khatam kar raha hu yaar. So what happened is that COVID happened. Or literally we stopped and said, yaar, ab kya hoga? Ab events nahi ho rahi. We, by the way, in 2019 we had 65 events. Ab hum ek event nahi kar payenge. To lihaza, तो this was the angst was there, and COVID happened. But then something else happened. What that happened was the chapters happened. So lihaza, over the next 2 years, and I'm proud to say that, the chapters and the net and the central office went on and really worked hard, called up people, had Zoom session. We didn't even know what a Zoom event was at that time. We put in new platforms, and the staff really worked hard from their homes. Of course, now the challenge for me is to get them back into the office. अब मुश्किल हो गई भाई, वो तो बजे से घर में काम कर रहे हैं. But alhamdulillah, as a result, what happened is that 2020 and 2021 revenues increased by 30% over the year, over 2019. So something is good, something is happening. And so finally, and this did not happen across the country. Remember, there are 1.6 million charities, out of which, so this bar is नीचे का बार देखिएगा सिर्फ इंडिविजुअल डोनेशंस का. Individual donations, more than 65% of the charities reported a decrease in the last 2 years because of COVID. There was only 10% of the charities in the US who reported increases in their revenue. And you and us were amongst the top 10%. So mashallah. and if you look at the numbers, I know Allah ka shukr hai कि भाई हमें बोझ नहीं करना चाहिए, मगर हमको थोड़ा सा थोड़ी देर के लिए तो कर सकते हैं ना. तो अल्लाह का शुक्र है कि भाई हम अभी इस वक्त जहाँ हैं वो हैं, और इंशाल्लाह और जो नई टीम आई है, so we are at 16.5, and I don't want to get into the details, but 2021 was actually 20 million and take out one big donation for 16.5 million. That is our anchor point right now. And we are well on our way to 30 million by 2030, or 40 million by 2030, inshallah. So thank you very much, all, and it's been a delight to be here. And let me introduce Salman. Salman की story while he's coming up, भाई सलमान का background ये है कि बहुत अरसे से हम ढूंढ रहे थे एक chief executive को. तो फिर and we interviewed a lot, we hired a executive search firm, मगर वो fit नहीं हो रहा था, कोई बात fit नहीं हो रही. तो हुआ ये कि भाई सलमान टोरंटो, he's an immigrant from Karachi to जिया ने मुझे कॉल किया, यार इससे सलमान से बात करनी. सलमान से मैंने कोई 10 मिनट बात की होगी फोन पे, और मैं कहा यार यही बंदा है. और है ना, the reason why was this man as and let me reiterate, and I've got like,
but that slides are not showing over here.
जब मुझे assess कर रहे थे, by the way, Mushlak and I go long, right? We were
It's the first slide, na? That's
right?
the guy is putting it on the wrong one.
So isne finding me, right? But anyway, we ran across each other after about 50 years or so, and then he said, "Yeah, from Pakistan, from Pakistan school." तब मुझे नहीं पता था ये कि मेरा assessment हो रहा है. So literally from the airport, after we had cleaned up, and my wife and I, Najma and I, we were taken to their office in Ahsan Salim's office. So the founders were there, and we had a nice lunch there, and we were all jet lagged, right? So I mean, I have in my history, Najma and I have done a lot of other community work and so on. We've been involved in politics, so. And Ahsan, probably the best compliment anybody could give me, gave me a compliment. And he said, "Arif, यार आप लगता है थोड़ा पागल है ना, तो आप पागल खाने में आप welcome to our पागल खाने." So that was the start of my relationship with TCF. And in a similar way, I can vouch कि सलमान भी थोड़ा पागल है, क्योंकि इसने पिछले 10 साल, while he was in Pakistan, he has volunteered as one of the leaders. I think there are 4 in the leadership program of about, I don't know, 15,000 Rehber program volunteers. So this man and his wife, Roshni, have been volunteering for the last 10 years. So he knows TCF in and out. MashaAllah, it's a privilege to work with you. And so far, very focused. Ye agar kahega to nahi chhodega phir, So thank you very much, Salman, for all you do.
Assalamu alaikum. आवाज आ रही है? Thank you. Thank you, Arif Saab. Before I start, Arif Saab, I've worked with a lot of supervisors, Pakistan में banking भी की, थोड़ी बहुत e-commerce भी की, ज़िया के साथ भी थोड़ी बहुत banking की हम लोग colleagues थे. लेकिन the passion, the ethics, the attention to detail that I've learned from Arif Saab, I'm aspiring to learn from Arif Saab. It's something I've not seen in my other managers. So thank you for that, Arif Saab. आरिफ साहब के साथ जब मैंने अपनी टीम पाकिया ने कहा कि जी हमें आप भी कुछ यूसीसी में काम करें, तो आपका काम ये है कि आप आरिफ साहब से प्रेजेंटेशन बनाएं. तो आई थॉट दैट शी इज गिविंग मी अ फेवर, बट मुझे बाद में पता चला, मैंने फिर पुरानी फाइल देखी यूसीसी 2020 की जिसने आरिफ साहब के साथ प्रेजेंटेशन बनाई थी, तो उसका जो फाइनल वर्जन था वो था वर्जन 14 जो आरिफ साहब ने अप्रूव किया था. तब मुझे समझ आया फाकिया ने मेरे साथ किया क्या है, क्यों कहा कि आप आरिफ साहब के साथ प्रेजेंटेशन बनाए। लेकिन आई एम वेरी प्राउड टू से कि आरिफ साहब ने वर्जन 6 पे मेरी प्रेजेंटेशन अप्रूव कर दी है। तो आरिफ साहब हम आपसे बहुत डरते हैं, आपको लगता है हमसे डरते नहीं, हम आपसे बहुत डरते हैं। और अगर कोई बिलीव नहीं करता तो प्लीज आरिफ साहब साथ एक प्रेजेंटेशन पे काम कर लें, उनको समझ आ जाएगा कि आरिफ साहब की क्या लेवल है। So thank you for all what you do. We at TCF USA would be lost without you. On behalf of management, I would formally like to welcome everybody. We have people from Italy, we have people from Canada, a huge contingent from Canada, and thank you, Farhan, for being here and leading them. Thank you, Sir Saab. We have, of course, our leadership from Pakistan. We have UK here. Thank you, Sania. So on behalf of TCF management, thank you so much for coming and joining. And of course, our chapters from all across the US. So before we start, एक इलेक्शन करवा लेते हैं। So हमने अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह we've done well, 2020 big number, last जब 2020 हुआ तो सब बड़े खुश थे, दिसंबर 23 को 20 मिलियन कर लिया TCF। मैं थोड़ा परेशान था क्योंकि मैनेजमेंट ने ये सिखाते हैं कॉर्पोरेट मैनेजमेंट में कि यार पिछला टारगेट अगर बहुत बड़ा हुआ तो अगले साल क्या होगा। So मैंने कहा यार ये तो बड़ा मजा हो गया, ये क्यों आ गए इतने ज्यादा पैसे। लेकिन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अल्लाह का करम है, जितने भी पैसे हम बच्चों को दें उतना कम है, तो अल्लाह का बहुत शुक्र है। बट आगे चलते हैं। So मैंने एक 2021 और 22 और 20 का मैं कि मई 15 पे कहाँ खड़े थे हम यूजली। तो मैंने एक ऐसे एक हिसाब अपने सिस्टम में निकाला, तो हम 2020 पे 3.9 पे थे और 2021 में बहुत अच्छी ग्रोथ अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, थैंक्स टू ऑल ऑफ यू, 5.5 पे थे। तो मैंने कहा थोड़ा इलेक्शन का जमाना, इलेक्शन करवाते हैं। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द पोल्स। प्लीज टेक आउट योर फोन्स, पल्स, एंड लेट्स हैव, उसमें आपको एक सवाल नजर आएगा एंड द क्वेश्चन इज where do you think we are at May 2015-2022? And उसमें ऑप्शंस हैं, जवाब दें और उसके बाद we would display the result, election results here. Staff, if you can need any help, please guide people. सवाल आएगा, ब्रॉडकास्ट करते सवाल। Sorry? Oh, he's going to broadcast the other one. Yeah, you can see the broadcast now. It's 2022. आप कहाँ फील करती है? हमने मई 2020 में 3.9 मिलियन किया था TCF USA, 2021 में 5.5। सो मई 15 2022 अभी गुजरा है, 10 दिन पहले, 15-11 दिन पहले। क्या ख्याल है कहाँ होंगे हम TCF USA इन रेवेन्यू? पांच महीने में, पिछले जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च, अप्रैल, मई जो हमने इस साल का गुजारा है, कहाँ कितना रेज किया होगा हमने TCF USA? So how much you think? The next questions. Okay, I think जवाब आपने दे दिए, तो अब रिजल्ट्स पे आ जाते हैं। So let's go for a presentation. Can you put the presentation back on? Alhamdulillah, we have done 8 million over the last 5 months. Thanks to all of you. तो हम पिछले साल से भी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, as we said, we are going, अल्लाह का करम है, we are going ahead. और मैं आपको और लेटेस्ट खबर देता हूँ। मैंने कोई 1-2 दिन पहले था, बिजी रहे हमारे मेरी और मेरी टीम के पिछले 5-8 दिन, बट एक दिन पहले मैंने सिस्टम में दोबारा स्टडी किया। Today we are standing at 8.7 million. So we are going to cross $9 million, inshallah, in the month of May, from 5.5, which is close to a 48 to 50% growth over last year. Just in the first. Allah ka bahut karam, and thanks to all of you. So, थोड़ा सा आगे की बात करते हैं, मैं ज्यादा वक्त नहीं लूंगा, बट जब हम आए, जब थोड़ी बहुत बात हुई आरिफ साहब से, तो एक डिस्कशन हुआ कि मेरे पास 2030 में $30 मिलियन पे पहुंचने के लिए कुछ प्लान्स बनाए जाएं, और उसमें कुछ नंबर्स देखे, बहुत डीप डाइव किया। मेरी टीम ने मेरे साथ बहुत घंटों की डिस्कशंस हुए ऑन दोस नंबर्स। कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट 2-3 बातें आपको TCF के बारे में एज अ फैमिली शेयर करना चाहते थे हम लोग। जो प्लान बनाया था हमने, उसमें हमने सारी मार्केट को देखा, आपस में बहुत डिस्कशंस किए, और जो यहाँ मैनेजर्स बैठे हैं उनको आइडिया होगा कि एक कॉन्सेप्ट होता है वे वी आर, जो भी आरिफ साहब ने बताया है, वे वी वांट टू बी इज 30 मिलियन 2030 एंड द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट इज स्ट्रेटजी डॉक्यूमेंट इज हाउ डू वी गेट देयर। तो उस पर बहुत बात हुई, उसके लिए आपको एक स्ट्रेंथ, अपॉर्चुनिटी, वीकनेस, थ्रेट्स का एक पूरी एक्सरसाइज करनी होती है। कुछ चैप्टर से भी बात हुई, कुछ पाकिस्तान से भी बात हुई, और हमने एक लिस्ट इस पे बनाई। उसके बाद हमने कुछ फोकस किया कि जाहिर बात अब सब कुछ करना, बहुत सारी चीजें मिस हो जाती हैं। हमने कहा फोकस करें, क्या वो 5 चीजें हैं जो हम सही कर लें तो इंशाल्लाह हम लोग वी विल रीच टू आवर टारगेट, एंड आई टॉक अबाउट दैट इन व्हाइल। कुछ तरह हिसाब किताब के नंबर्स बनाए, किस महीने क्या खर्चा करना है, लोग कितने चाहिए होंगे वो काम करने के लिए, रेवेन्यूज किस एंगल से आएंगे, रेवेन्यूज डाइवर्सिफाई कैसे करेंगे। तो कुछ तरह मैथमेटिकल किया हमने काम, और उसी के बेस पे हमने एक नया ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को बनाया, जिसमें हम गेयर कर रहे हैं इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को टू गो टुवर्ड्स $30 मिलियन। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह कुछ रिजल्ट्स आप इस स्ट्रेटजी प्लान के देख रहे हैं। अपने बहुत लोगों से मिले होंगे टीसीएफ स्टाफ के, जो आपसे कह रहे हैं हम 2 महीने पहले आए हैं, हम 3 हफ्ते पहले आए हैं। दे आर रिजल्ट ऑफ द स्ट्रेटेजिक प्लान। और हमने 3rd क्वार्टर पे बोर्ड के पास गए, और बोर्ड के से हमने इस पे पूरा सेशन हुआ 2-3-4 घंटे का। थैंक द बोर्ड फॉर स्पेंडिंग दैट मच टाइम। बहुत सवाल जवाब, और इवेंचुअली बोर्ड ने हमारा ये स्ट्रेटेजिक प्लान 2030 के लिए अप्रूव कर लिया। सो नाउ वी आर इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ इम्प्लीमेंटिंग। और थोड़ी सी बात उस पर करूंगा, लेकिन कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें मैं शेयर करना चाह रहा था कि कुछ हर चीज अब है हमेशा अभी एक हमारी वैल्यू सिस्टम में असद साहब ने बात की कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट और मास्टरी की। तो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि सब कुछ बहुत अच्छा है, कुछ हमें अपने आप को और देखिए कहाँ इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं ताकि और बेहतर कर सकें। कुछ स्ट्रेंथ्स हैं, और सबसे बड़ी स्ट्रेंथ जो अगर आप देखेंगे मेरे बुक्स में इज द डेडिकेटेड, जो हमारे डोनर बेस हैं, जो कि आप लोग हैं। हमारी स्टोरी भी अच्छी है, टीसीएफ अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट कर रहा है। पाकिस्तान से बहुत सपोर्ट मिलती है, हमारा वॉलंटियर बेस जो आप लोग हैं, दिस आर ऑल गुड थिंग्स। बट कुछ बातें मैं करूंगा, और डिजिटल में हमें अभी सीख रहे हैं, हमें और काम करना है, वी आर नॉट देयर येट। वीकनेस, एक वीकनेस जो बहुत आ रही थी हमारे पास बार बार, इज द बैंडविड्थ ऑफ टीसीएफ यूएसए एज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। क्या हमारे पास इतने लोग हैं चैप्टर्स में जो चैप्टर्स को सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं? डू वी हैव, बिकॉज हर चैप्टर्स की अपनी यूनिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स होती हैं, हर चैप्टर्स की अपनी यूनिक इवेंट्स के प्लान्स होते हैं। तो डू वी हैव दैट एट टीसीएफ यूएसए? हमारे कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी के अपग्रेड्स हैं जो हमें चाहिए। हमारा जो सिस्टम है वो शायद बना था एक ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए जो $10 मिलियन के आसपास की साइज की होगी, अब हम $20 मिलियन पे। तो वी आर अपग्रेडिंग और बाइंग सम न्यू सिस्टम्स, सम वर्ल्ड क्लास सिस्टम्स टू इंश्योर कि हम लोग अपने चैप्टर्स को सही रिपोर्टिंग कर सकें। कुछ पाकिस्तान के साथ कुछ ताल्लुकात, जैसे आरिफ साहब ने कहा सेपरेट एंटिटीज हैं, किस तरह हम लोग इंश्योर करें कि हम लोग जो है, हम लोग चाह रहे थे कि पाकिस्तान के साथ एक पूरे एक वर्किंग रिदम पे लेके आए ताकि वी ऑल independent but also working together for the common goal. And thanks to Zia and his team, I think we have started that journey and we are getting there where we are much more aligned, talking much more, having those strategic meetings, and inshallah one of the GLT जो हमारे हर 2 हफ्ते में हम लोग मिलते हैं is helping us out. तो ये चैलेंज भी हम लोग इस पे करेंगे। कुछ और बातें मैंने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में घुसा तो मुझे मालूम हुई, chapters are the backbones. I think this is a fact. Numbers say it. It is because of the chapters that we have reached where we have reached. लेकिन एक important बात जो कि हम जिस दायरे पे इस वक्त खड़े हुए हैं, हमारे जो बहुत सारा पैसा हमारा चंद लोगों से आ रहा है, और ये ट्रेंड हमारा बढ़ रहा है, which means अगर आप पिछले ये मैं आपको रिपीट कर दूं, यहाँ हमारे डोनेटियर्स हैं और यहाँ उनका अमाउंट है जो वो लोग कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं। तो अगर आप देखेंगे कि 2016 में 16 डोनर्स ने 2.5 मिलियन दिए थे, सॉरी 2019 में, 2020 में 5.7 मिलियन दिए थे 15 डोनर्स ने, और 2021 में 8.7 मिलियन ऑफ दैट 20 मिलियन वाज गिवन बाय 19 डोनर्स। तो कुछ हम जब आप नंबर्स देखते हैं तो आपको कुछ समझ आता है कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में क्या हो रहा है, और उसकी बेस पे ही आप आगे के स्ट्रैटेजी या आगे का इरादा करते हैं। एक और इम्पॉर्टेंट बात जो मुझे नजर आई, एंड अगेन वी शुड कॉल स्पेड्स अ स्पेड्स, इज न्यू डोनर्स। हमारा एक चैलेंज है एज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टीसीएफ यूएसए। हम लोग वी आर वेरी गुड अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इन गेटिंग आवर एग्जिस्टिंग डोनर्स सेटिस्फाइड एंड गेटिंग देम टू जो पहले 10,000 दे रहा था वो $20,000 दे रहा है, जो $20,000 दे रहा था वो स्कूल की बातें कर रहा है, तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। People, when they get connected to us, they get connected to us for the long term. However, there is a huge market out there. अभी अतीत साहब ने भी ये कहा कि 100% मेरी पहली कॉल जब मैं CEO को किया तो मैंने अतीत साहब को फोन किया तो उन्होंने मुझसे सिर्फ 2 ही सवाल पूछे, कितने करोगे इस साल? तो मैं एज कॉर्पोरेट मैनेजर, मुझे पता था हम 15-16 मिलियन तो करेंगे विदाउट एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी, तो मैंने अतीत साहब को कहा 13 मिलियन के आसपास तो हो जाएगा अतीत साहब। तो अतीत साहब ने उस वक्त भी मुझे कहा कि बट सलमान, जो आपको याद नहीं होगा शायद, बट TCF USA का जो पोटेंशियल है वो तो पूरा 100% TCF सपोर्ट करने का है, तो उस पर सोचो। तो उसी पे सोच पे हम लोग ने काम किया है और दिस इज अ चैलेंज दैट वी नीड टू एड्रेस, और इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में हम इस पे बारे में और बात करेंगे, बट आई जस्ट वांटेड टू शो दैट न्यू डोनर्स इज अ चैलेंज फॉर अस। सो अपने ऑर्गेनाइज देखने के बाद फिर हमने अपने ख्वाब बनाए कि ठीक है अब हम यहाँ खड़े हैं, जाना वहाँ है, और ये हमारे ख्वाब है। हम डिजिटल डोमिनेंस में जाना चाहते हैं, नंबर 1 होना चाहते हैं। डेवलपमेंट बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है कि हम हैं क्या एज TCF USA, हमारा काम क्या है। हम एज TCF USA हमारा काम फंड रेजिंग करना है। अगर हमारा काम फंड रेजिंग करना है तो फंड रेजिंग कहाँ से होगी? डेवलपमेंट, आउटरीच, और लोगों से मिलना, और लोगों से बात करना, और लोगों TCF से बात करना। हमारी डेवलपमेंट टीम्स जो थी बहुत ही अंडरस्टाफ थी। अगर मैं आज से 4-5 महीने पुरानी बात करूँ, हमारी डेवलपमेंट टीम पूरी की पूरी डेवलपमेंट टीम का नाम फाकिया रशीद था। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, now we have Eric, we have Aisha, we have tried to give Fakia the power to actually start going out rather than people coming into TCF and talking about let's go out and also talk about TCF. And this is going to take a little bit time, but that's what we aspire to do. I think हमारे as an organization भी हम बहुत thin थे, अभी भी हैं। तो succession planning में हम struggle करते हैं। अगर कोई हमें छोड़ के जाता है तो हमारे पास पीछे लोग नहीं होते, तो but that is again a process that we started taking. But हमारी aspiration ये है कि हम एक process oriented organization हैं। Thank you. ये वो, मैं ज्यादा इस पे डिटेल में जाऊँ, ये वो 5 एरियाज हैं जिसपे हमने काम करना है। इस हर एरिया के अपने एक्शन प्लान्स हमने बनाए हैं, जो हम 2024 में करेंगे, 2023 में करेंगे, 2024 में करेंगे, 2025 में करेंगे। इसके डिटेल प्लान्स बने हुए हैं। Chapter growth is our key. Digital is diversifying our revenue lines to new people. Actually having a development infrastructure जहाँ हम नए शहर में जा सके, हमने अपने कॉल सेंटर एस्टैब्लिश कर सके, लोगों को कॉल जा सके ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ TCF USA टू डोनेट, न्यू चैप्टर्स, न्यू डोनर्स, स्मॉल सिटी कैंपेन्स, इस पे भी हम थोड़ा और आगे बात करेंगे। is something that this department will do. Diversify revenues. Chapters will remain our backbone. We will support our chapters, and inshallah that continue to remain our core of the business. But we will try to get some more market segments going as well. हमें लोगों की जरूरत है, अच्छे लोगों की, हमारे पास आ भी गए हैं अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। It was a challenge, but we have some people dedicated to cause. और इसके अलावा जैसे अभी आरिफ साहब ने बात की, कंप्लायंस एंड गवर्नेंस, हम ये फील करते हैं, और प्रोग्राम मैनेजमेंट हम ये फील करते हैं कि बहुत जरूरी है कि इसको फोकस से देखें। आई वुड लाइक टू मेंशन दानियाल नूरानी है, जो कंप्लायंस की चैरिटी नेविगेटर की आपने बात सुनी, और जो बाइट साइड, दैट इज दानियाल साहब हैज बीन वेरी particular about filling it in, and now we have people in the organization दानियाल साहब जिनको गाइड करते हैं, and we have had this process up and running. Compliance, governance, TCF पाकिस्तान के साथ हमारे compliance के regulations, IRA के साथ, we are very particular about this, and we feel that controls is the key, and we have set up a unit inside TCF USA to look at controls from the regulatory perspective as well as controls with Pakistan. अब हमारे third party audits हो रहे हैं स्कूलों में जाके पाकिस्तान में, ताकि और हमारे डायरेक्ट रिपोर्ट्स आ रही हैं कि हमारे स्कूल्स कैसे परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं। All this is very important for us to maintain that status of the top 8% charities operating in the US. Chapter growth में जैसे का एक डेडिकेटेड सेशन है। डिजिटल में मैं बस थोड़ी सी बात करूँगा, एक चैलेंज रहा है हमारे लिए। We have learned, we have discussed with Pakistan, कुछ चीजें ट्राई की, नहीं चली 3-4 सालों में, कुछ और चीजें ट्राई कर रहे हैं। But for a very, so what's your next step? भी आप देखिए हमने इन्वेस्टमेंट भी बढ़ाई है डिजिटल में the last 5 years. कुछ 1-2 एजेंसीज भी ट्राई की, कुछ के साथ हमारी नहीं केमिस्ट्री बन पाई, कुछ के साथ हमारे इश्यूज थे। लेकिन आज अगर आप कहें तो जस्ट एक एग्जांपल देना चाह रहा हूँ कि एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है पेनी अपील, दे आर डूइंग वेरी वेल ऑन द डिजिटल साइड। एक और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इस्लामिक रिलीफ, दे आर आल्सो डूइंग वेरी वेल ऑन द डिजिटल साइड। 66% इस्लामिक रिलीफ ऑनलाइन करता है, पेनी अपील 70% उनकी फंडिंग ऑनलाइन होती है। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा ये हमारा मॉडल ओनली मॉडल है, बिकॉज उसके साथ उनके अखराजात भी बहुत ज्यादा है और हम बहुत पर्टिकुलर हैं उसके ऊपर। बट व्हाट आई एम वेरी प्राउड टू से कि जो पार्टनर इनका है, जिनको इनको डिजिटल डोमिनेंस तक लेके गया है, टुडे वही partner हमारा भी है. So we have hired BGA with the blessings of Pakistan, and Asad Saab, thank you so much for approving that. It's an investment. We all know it's something that's a very big price that TCF USA and TCF Pakistan and all our country are paying. But वो organization जो TCF जो USA में इन organization को digital पे guide करके यहाँ के लेके आई हैं, today they are also our digital agency and they are guiding us to get there as well. So that's a huge step on that perspective to have the best world-class digital agencies working for us. On the development side, Arif Saab ने slide कल दिखाई थी, but इस session में we are doing a few things जो आप dark blue में देखें, donor engagement, corporate giving, outreach कुछ काम हो रहा है. Light blue में strategy plan में हम नई चीजें डाल रहे हैं. Planned giving is a huge initiative and Arif Saab will talk about that later as well. Small cities, बहुत सारी जगहों पे हमारे chapters नहीं हैं, पाकिस्तानी families हैं, doctors हैं. Eric, one of the Eric's responsibilities, he's going to pick up his briefcase and with the guidance of Abdullah Saab, he's going to go there, he's going to present TCF to those people and start getting donations. और इंशाल्लाह वो उस level पे पहुंच जाएंगे कि वो chapters बनना शुरू हो जाएंगे छोटे शहरों में. So ये पूरा एक effort central office फाकिया की leadership पे इसको लेके आगे जाएगा. I'm a little bit और इस पे पूरा session है outreach के ऊपर कल बल्कि आज दोपहर को. So we will talk more about it there. Just to give you an idea, कुछ ऐसे हमने examples ढूंढे थे, Louisville, Kentucky, Florida Coast. आप जो देख रहे हैं बहुत सारी जगहों पे हमारे chapters हैं, but red पे बहुत सारी जगहों पे बस donations आ रही हैं जहाँ chapters नहीं हैं. So the numbers are saying something to us, and that is where we need to go, and we need to actually start working towards that. So इस पे भी काम शुरू हो गया, resources आ गई हैं organization में, उनकी KPIs बन गए हैं, and they have started working on that as well. So जो ये सारी चीजें आपके तनाज़ों में आप देखेंगे ना, तो न्यू डोनर्स का हमें जरा एक चीज नजर आएगी ना, हम उसको जरा ट्रैक करेंगे. न्यू डोनर्स इज द लाइफलाइन ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. इफ वी डोंट गेट द न्यू डोनर्स इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, वी विल बी हैविंग अ क्लोज टैप इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सो ये सारे स्ट्रेटजी जो हमने बनाई है, हमने न्यू डोनर्स को ध्यान में रख के बनाई है. अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, यू नो, इफ समथिंग इज नॉट ब्रोकन, व्हाई फिक्स इट? अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, यू ऑल आर डूइंग सो वेल इन द एग्जिस्टिंग डोनर्स. But that does not mean not to stop. जो हो रहा है वो तो होता रहेगा, लेकिन कुछ नई भी चीजें शुरू करनी है. कुछ आइडेंटिफाई करें हमने शहर. इस साल का हमारा, Eric, your goal is 5 cities we need to go in and start working on them. So get your traveling shoes on, start working. 3 weeks is more enough time to get settled down. Okay. Do you want to try the poll? Okay. So एक और आखिरी पोल और मेरी आखिरी एक आध दो स्लाइड्स. प्लान गिविंग की बात आगे करेंगे, लेकिन एक सवाल आपको अपनी पल्स पे नजर आएगा as you go towards pulse. Any idea कि how much does a person, if a donor donates $100,000 in his lifetime, how much would you expect to give in a planned giving? कितना देता होगा अगर उसने पूरी जिंदगी में अपना $1 लाख 30-40 साल की उम्र, 50 साल की उम्र, 60 साल की उम्र पे दिए हैं, और इन द इवेंट ऑफ हिज प्लानिंग हिज गिविंग कितना देता होगा वो? ओह, वी आर वेरी गुड. 60% ने बिल्कुल ठीक जवाब दिया है. सो imagine the potential of planned giving, and Adil Saab said something in the board meeting yesterday, and I want to take his words. This is the most important initiative that TCF USA is launching, is getting these people. So जितना भी आपके chapters ने किया है, आप अचानक से उसको 2.7 से multiply कर सकते हैं अगर आप planned giving को अपना focus बना लें. So we're going to talk more about it, but I would leave it here for now. Can you go back to my presentation? So this is another strategic plan that we have made. We have made investments. Arif Saab ne, I think, introduced karaya tha. Manita, can you please stand up for a second? She's an expert plan giving manager. Again, a very new person. She has 1 month? 1 month? 3 weeks, or sorry. So she's joined us 3 weeks. 3 हफ्ते में इन्होंने पूरी ये presentation जो अभी आरिफ साहब और ये साथ कर रहे हैं, और उनको समझ आ गया TCF, क्योंकि मैंने उनको बिल्कुल कहा कि आप मुझसे बिल्कुल बात ना किया करें, आप आरिफ साहब से बात किया करें. तो 3 हफ्ते में बिल्कुल वो TCF से उन्हें समझ आ गया TCF USA क्या है. So it's a very, very big opportunity for us, planned giving, and we have now expert in-house. So अगर हमें को planned giving का कोई मिलता है, and again I'll talk more about it. I think I should be 5 minutes left for me. The third one, another important one, and again I would want, this is something that you started even before the strategy plan. And Amjad Saab, if you're listening to me, and Javed Saab, thank you so much they lead this initiative from the board. Ijaz Saab supports us. They actually meet us every week. So we have to be on our toes every week to answer to Javed Saab's questions, to Amjad Saab's questions on grants. And they've been spearheading this. And Fakia reported some numbers on the board meeting. Alhamdulillah, we've grown by 35, 40% per year when it comes to grants. Out of that $20 million, $2 million grants se hasil kiye hum logon ne. So I would want to appreciate them for taking all the time to run this initiative. And now again, we have people inside the organization. So we will, I know Arif, Javed Saab and Amjad help us, but management also has to take over. So we have, again, Aisha, who's looking after that. Eric is also going to be part of the grants team and start getting management more involved and going out to companies and creating those relationships. However, one ask that I would do before is grants is all about relationships to get the foot in the door. So I would request everybody in this room, koi grant foundation hai, which you have relationships with your friends, colleagues, family, neighbor, anybody who is in the grant side, please send us information, help us get to a meeting with them, and we will, inshallah, try to get the grants from them. It's a huge play. Pakistan, with $16 million grants gayi hain between 2018-21. It's a huge market and we need to get there as well. My last slide, just wanted to show that my team, and I'll just take 1 minute here. There's certain people here that we mentioned. We mentioned Fakia here. We have mentioned there's a lot of teamwork in the background. Jinko front end pe aapke saath nahi hote. Fatma, I don't know if Fatma is on Zoom right now or not. She looks after the entire data team. Everybody knows, and the most popular person, she's not been sleeping for 7 days. Sahar, are you there? She is there. All right. Sahar is listening in, but she's muted. She can't talk. And a workhorse. She works with all of you. She's also played a very major part in setting up and organizing this conference. I promise you're going to see her very soon on video. So, and of course, Mavish is right here. Saima, our finance team is right here. My chapter support team, everybody. And I was saying to the founders 2 days ago in my office that, again, I had the privilege to work with a lot of teams, but January 1st, so we were talking about how to get 20 million. There was no celebration in the organization. We all had pulled into meetings. How do we get the January Going the salaries. So of course there are 2-3 segments to this. एक हमारी donations आती है general education fund में, where people donate money कि आप जो है इस्तेमाल करें, वो हमारे बच्चों की फीसों में, हमारे जो हैं वो school running expenses में इनमें जाती है. कुछ restricted funding होती है जैसे कि स्कूल बनाना है, उसकी पे जो भी स्कूल बिल डोनर्स होते हैं उनको एक रिपोर्ट आउट मिलती है जिसको हम कहते हैं स्कूल परफॉर्मेंस रिपोर्ट. सो द मेजर डोनर्स फाइंड आउट अबाउट देयर स्कूल्स कि क्या हो रहा है स्कूल में, एनरोलमेंट क्या है, बच्चे कितने हैं उस स्कूल में, उस स्कूल की परफॉर्मेंस क्या है, ए ग्रेड कितने बच्चों के आए हैं, कितनी परसेंट सैलरीज पे जाता है, कितना परसेंट रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस में जाता है, कितना परसेंट स्कूल वैन में जाता है, उनमें जो पैसे दिए हुए होते हैं. तो एक पूरा एक क्या कहते हैं डॉक्यूमेंट है जो कि हर साल हमारे लोगों को मिलता है. तो सेकंड ट्रांसपेरेंसी की बात है कि हम जितने भी फंड्स हम करते हैं हम सब रिपोर्ट आउट करते हैं टू द रेगुलेटर्स. हमारे 990s पे द एंटायर फंड इज डिस्प्लेड. हमारी स्टाफ की क्या कॉस्ट है दैट इज डिस्प्लेड. हमारे बोर्ड मेंबर्स कौन हैं, उनकी क्या प्रो बोनोस हैं, वो सब डिस्प्लेड है. On the transparency side, and we are again increasing the focus. Second thing that we've done, as I said, is कि हमने एक third party auditor को पाकिस्तान में hire किया है, TCF USA, and he and she in March this year, and they go to the schools and they audit and report back to TCF USA कि जो हमारे funds use हो रहे हैं उसमें washroom की क्या condition है, जब मैं school गया तो teachers available थी, principal से मुलाकात हुई, बच्चे आए हुए थे, और वो TCF पाकिस्तान के पास नहीं जाती है वो रिपोर्ट, वो डायरेक्ट हम उनको पे करते हैं, हमारे पास आती है और हम उनको रिव्यू करते हैं. ये कार्रवाई हमने अभी 1-1.5 महीने पहले शुरू की है. इंशाअल्लाह ताला एज वी गेट मोर हम अपने डोनर्स के साथ भी वो थर्ड पार्टी ऑडिट्स भी शेयर करना शुरू करेंगे फॉर मोर ट्रांसपेरेंसी. सो आई नो आई वाज अगेन डिटेल में ऑफलाइन और डिस्कस करेंगे. आई एम सॉरी इन शॉर्ट टाइम. सो
No, thank you so much. Okay, the second question is, and that is to you, Salman,
Sure.
again. What is the percentage of corporate or employer matching in 2021 numbers? And what has been the trend? Is TCF USA maximizing the employer matching?
That's a very, very good question. So corporate matching was, and Fakia, correct me if I'm wrong, was close to $300,000 a few years ago. We started focusing on them. कुछ मेले जाती, कुछ chapter leaders से हम लोग बात करें. Last year we closed corporate matching at $1 million, and we have shown a growth there. And ये $1 million is not total. तो किसी ने $1 million दिए, तो organization ने $1 million उस पे match किए. So we've got through that. A lot more work is been going on. हमारे पास, and we will need some help here. हमारे पास बहुत सारे अपने donors की employment information नहीं है. So हम अक्सर अगर आप देखें TCF की मेले आ रही होती हैं क्योंकि हमें information दे. हमने कुछ systems भी purchase किए हैं जिसके through हम match करके उनकी employment information tag करने की कोशिश करते हैं, उसके बाद उनको करते हैं. So I would not say that we have achieved what we have to achieve, but there's definitely a double-digit growth rate when it comes to corporate matching, and now we have crossed $1 million in corporate matching. So $20 million का $1 million is corporate matching.
Thank you, Salman. Okay, this question anyone can answer, honestly. Last 20 years have been a great organic growth story for TCF Pakistan. Strategically, if TCF needs to grow further, are there any inorganic or acquisitions being evaluated to grow in future?
What's that? मजा.
अभी तो खाना शुरू किया था.
So I guess the closest thing to that is us going and saying to the government that, you know, we can manage 100, 500, 1,000 schools on your behalf. That definitely is something we're always looking out for. But over time, what we've done is we've become a lot more careful about the terms on which we take those schools over so that we can really make meaningful and sustainable progress. The other thing that we're doing is we are not through acquisition, quote unquote, but through a lot of different programs, we are trying to lift the status of quality and the quality of education in the 100,000 plus low-fee private schools out there. 42% of Pakistani children who are enrolled go to low-fee private schools. So that's also another frontier where we're trying to actively lift quality of outcomes. That is the inorganic part of our operation now, where we become more of a platform rather than just a school operator.
Thank you so much for this. All right. Now I have to remind you all to go back to your pulse survey and tell us how did we do with this session? Again, scan through the barcode if you have lost that link. When you click on the link, there's going to be a pulse icon on the bottom of the screen at the left corner. सलमान भाई आपकी परफॉर्मेंस का आ रहा है रिजल्ट? Are we displaying that on the screen? No? Okay. All right. That's for us. Sorry. You have a question? Sorry. Uh-huh.
But your last question, Salman, with your, I'm Adil Najim, I serve on the board. Can I take one stab at the second question that was asked of you? Actually, acquisition wala bhi hai, acquisition zyada idhar bhi hoti hai. When TCF USA acquires someone else's donor. Right? I mean, this is a serious issue, right? Donor ki ek wo hai. And that means that your donor can also be acquired by someone else.
Good point.
Right? Like
Yes.
the point I wanted to make on impact, because it keeps coming up. Yesterday we had the board meeting here. I was sitting on this side. There was a table. Today I'm sitting here. Every time the impact question comes, my eyes goes to those three posters. Wo jo second wala hai, which we keep talking about, is fine, but that's not impact. That's output. Itne school, itne bache, itne paise. Every time this question is asked, kal se 10 baar aaya, my eye goes to the first one. That's the impact story. Ki ek TCF ka bacha is making 50% more than the family household income they were coming from. Right? So in some ways, I think jo Salman bhi baat kar rahe the, the story we tell to our colleagues, our donors, etc., has to be more on that impact. Ki ye school to maine bana diya, school se hua kya? And that's a lifestyle change. कि मेरा एक बच्चा है वो आज स्कूल से निकला है, जैसे ही वो स्कूल से निकला है, is already making 50% more than the household income, and in some ways that's the impact as opposed to the building, etc. So I just wanted to highlight that.
You know, I thought that the last question was the last question, but there's another one, very important one that just popped in, which is, please let us know when we should be expecting a report. And regretfully, it has not been consistent. It's a tough one, guys. The school report we're talking about here. कोई या बोल रहा है, लगता है उन्हीं का है इस बार. Who's going to take this?
Yeah, you're talking about school performance.
Yes. Yes. School performance.
We have Dania Saab is smiling at me. We have a little bit of struggle going on with the bandwidth, if Zia allow me to say that. There was some delays last year when we not getting school reports on time. School performance reports. Dania Saab, would you like to?
Ran out of time. We should have discussed it yesterday, but we ran out of time. We have the major problem with school bill delays because of the extraordinary maintenance program we have and the extraordinary inflation we've had. But one thing that we can control is getting the construction progress reports and the completion reports on time. And
SPRs.
They're both CPRs and SPRs. We have had a problem with both. Okay, so it's CPRs, it's usually I'm told it's getting pictures in time for the CPR to be issued. School progress reports, I think that it's not so much a problem for me, but for the SAHARS team, it's a problem because they have deadlines where they need those school progress reports. The deadlines are the events. So when you have an event, like especially major chapters like Seattle or Washington, DC or Houston and stuff, they want to get a school progress report for all the schools of that chapter. And they want to get it well in advance of their event so that they can discuss, they can format their message to their meeting. I think we should,
Okay.
this is something that
So
we
it's a
can
point
work
that's
with.
taken, and we will discuss the school performance report, how to get them timely.
I think it is an important metric that
yeah,
we need to work on, and we should be building our KPIs around it. Okay, I think.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Assalamu alaikum, Zubair. I was going to ask this question, but I will just add to Daniel's point. मुझे भी अब 12 साल हो गए हैं उसमें, और हमने 210 में मेरे ख्याल में पहला इवेंट करा था TCF का डेलिस में। तो हमने पहला स्कूल मतियारी सिंध में बनाया था। तो आज भी जब मैं खड़ा होता हूँ डेलिस में तो मैं वही कहानियां सुनाता हूँ, but I don't have a school progress report. So I just want you to kind of know that. The only point I will make, other point I will make, आरिफ साहब ने भी बोला कि जी चैप्टर स्ट्रेटेजी जो है और चैप्टर जो है हमारी बेस है। सलमान साहब ने भी बोला कि चैप्टर इज स्टिल इज अ चैप्टर ग्रोथ इज अ स्ट्रेटेजी। I would just modify one word in your strategy. Chapter strategy, chapter growth जो आपने लिखा हुआ अपनी स्लाइड में, उसमें एक कर दें /support. If Arif Saab is right, then your strategy should have a support element to it, because all your chapters are volunteers based. And all those people, just like your employees, they are getting paid by TCF. They also have families, they have their jobs also. And most of the people are somewhat senior in their career trajectory. So Salman Saab has committed that he'll come to Dallas and we'll have some discussion on it. But I'll be happy to have that discussion and kind of guide that. So just want to kind of put that out.
Thank you so much for your guidance. And inshallah, I will take time for you and personally come to Dallas and take more the guidance. Thank you, Zubair Saab.
And what Zubair is saying, what I would request is that the report will come from Pakistan on each of those schools, the impact, which is the household income spent up by program, or so many children got the job. And quite frankly, we know that Pakistan is really working. They are.
We can still hear you. You can go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you.
Can hear me. You see, Salman, I would actually even say that let us hire a person, because we know Pakistan is very short of funds. Let us pay the salary of that person in Pakistan who gives us that report all over the United States and Canada. That will have a great impact.
Okay, so before I go to Zia, let me try to address that. They can't.
You got 1 minute.
Yeah, just 30 seconds. You see, we assume that Pakistan has that information, and that's an assumption कि कितने लोगों की household income school में बड़ी है या कितने लोगों को उनमें से नौकरी मिली है. I think that's an assumption, but I think Project Taluk की जो बात असद साहब ने की है, we will start getting more and more information about the impact that we've created. But Pakistan में भी जहाँ ये schools हैं, जिन इलाकों में हैं, they're not, ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको सारी information जो है वो computer पे आ रही है, आप लिख के phone करके मालूम करने की कोशिश करें कि school में क्या असल में हो रहा है. So it's not a very easy field working environment. And I'll hand over to Zia, my 30 seconds over, but lots of information that we're asking for, I don't think is there.
Yeah, I think this is super important. And I've been in a meeting where one of the chapter leaders, a board member of TCF USA, said that I haven't received my school report for years. So it's very important for us to solve and split two kinds of problems. One are the problems that we know we have, and we're working towards developing that, which is what Adil Saab is saying, really understanding what impact is. And depends, we can do it at a portfolio level, at a school level, depends on capability and cost and bandwidth, but we should at least start talking about those things. That's something we should work on. A school progress report is not an unsolved problem. So if it is a problem that we in Pakistan don't know, because we are producing a school report for every single school that exists, We are sending school report progress reports for every build donor who ever built a school in history and is not even supporting today. So hang on, let me finish. So if something is getting lost in the middle, and we can definitely talk about the content of that report and the style and design of that report and what impact means, as I said, that's something to work upon. But if there is something that basic that we're kind of missing a school progress report in transmission, definitely an offline thing to talk about, but I'm happy to be part of a group where we discuss that.
I'm so sorry, I have to cut you right now. We can continue talking. It's a time. Okay. Okay. We need definitely a side discussion on that. So guys, I think it's a time to stretch our legs, but while we're doing that, we need to take a big group picture. For that, we have to go to the right side of the room as soon as we exit. And there's a backdrop. You all are aware of that, right? So let's just march there and just make sure we come back in time, because abhi to mehfil jawan hui hai.
We have to be back in the room by 11:05, please.